How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL live stream here on Twitch. And today we're going to be discussing how got something in my eye there. Maybe it's because of the eyesore that United gave me watching the Liverpool game and just the shocking defensive display. Although they did give us a lot of FPL points, so we'll be taking a look at my game week score 435 and be taking a look at my latest inventions of my free hit draft for game week 36. We'll also be taking a look at the goals imminent table as we normally do, who to captain this week because there's a few options. And we're going to be taking a look at my newly created bad defenses, or as quoted on the Scoutcast, the Whipping Boys table, aka the defenses that have been quite bad over the last 4 matches. And we're going to take a look at which ones we can target to potentially get those last bit of FPL points for the end of the season. Also, just want to say as well, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitter. And follow us here on Twitch if you're watching this over on YouTube. And if you want to, get live advice, you can come watch us here on the streams. And we will be doing preview and deadline streams up until the end of the season. And we'll even be doing one after on the Sunday as like an immediate reaction for Game Week 38. And kind of do a season overview, as it were, as well. So be interesting to watch that. So make sure to come check us out for that. And we'll be doing some content over the off season as well. But yeah, let's see how we did in game week 35. So, very big score, and the deadline's just around the corner. It's I believe 2:30 p.m. my time, which is 1:30 p.m. EST, which is 6:30 p.m. UK time. So yeah, pretty quick turnaround. My team ended up with an absolutely bonkers score. 121 points, with the -8. That's 113 points. That's enough for a 100k green arrow up to 844k, which is very, very good. However, I'm still disappointed in one transfer that I could have done, basically, in terms of my decision making. So originally, I went for Maguire because it basically allowed for me to, with a certain downgrade. I can't remember what the exact combination was, but it's basically so that I can go Maguire to Trent and then somebody else to a different player. I think it was like Ward-Prowse to Rafinha, Maguire to Trent. I think something like that, and basically, that's the reason I got Maguire. And I got Wan-Bissaka, I think he ended up with what? He ended up with 5 points plus Villa plus whatever bonus points he got. I think he got at least 1 or 2 there. And then he got, another assist, although he did concede 4, so he's probably on 0. But he did end up getting a bonus point. So again, he would have been like 8 points better off. So that would have probably been a little bit better of a situation there, but can't argue with Digne's 14 points, with Fernandez captained, Calvert-Lewin in for 11 points. I think overall, I'm not too sure, but we'll have to check to see if the hit actually paid off. We'll have to check on that. How's it going, John Wick? Yeah, no, fantastic week for me. I think 121 points with a -8 makes it 113, 100k green arrow. So, I mean, if we can salvage something out of this, season, it'll just be to have some fun, and hopefully the points keep rolling in, and hopefully we can keep using our situation, and just saying, hey, let's pick some players that we think can do well, that will spice things up. Hence why I went with the free hit more, or angled the free hit more towards 36, whether it be no United, no City, no United, no Leicester, no Chelsea, no Arsenal. Hi, Sherry. How's it going? Felt lucky to get 101.39 left on the bench. Yeah, there's going to be some pretty big bench scores. Mine, as you can see, only 3 points because Aina didn't play. Masuaku didn't play because he was injured. Lingard only got 1 point and got booked. And Ariola only got 2 points, which was quite good. But I've seen, free hit teams with Forster, Smith Rowe, a bunch of different players. Bamford is another one on benches. And, yeah, they're not looking too great on that front. But yeah, 101 points is a good score. I think 100 is like the safety score if you're inside the top million for a green arrow. But I think the overall average was somewhere around 80-something points. So yeah. So hopefully we can get an even bigger boost on the free hit, because I think that's our advantage now. It's definitely the free hit. I'm just gonna take a look back and in comparison to who we had the week before. So the players that we took out Cody, we took out Son, we took out Vidra, and we took out Aspilicueta. So Aspilicueta, I'm going to do the calculations here to see if the hit actually paid off, because it might have done. Aspilicueta ended up with 9 points. Vidra ended up with 5 points. Cody ended up with 1 point. And who was the last one? Son ended up with, I don't think did he get a return? He did. He scored. I think he scored the right to go. Plus 7 points. And then plus 8 means I'm 30 points in the hole without factoring in what my team or my players got me this week. So, what my players got me this week. So I got 4 for Ward-Prowse, 1 for Maguire, 14 for Digne, and 11 for Calvert-Lewin. Turns out it was break even. Literally break even. 11 plus 14 is 25, plus Ward-Prowse is 4 makes 29, plus Maguire's 1 makes 30 exactly. So had I done nothing, it would have been the exact same. So in terms of points wise, but I think I'm in better stead going into the next few weeks, because I have Calvert-Lewin on the free hit probably, and then I also have him versus Wolves. Although I will have to fix the Maguire issue, which could be a bit problematic, but well, we'll see on that front going forward. Good evening, Mono. How are you doing? Hopefully you had a good game week. A lot of big scores, I'm actually curious, what was the biggest score this week? 152. Woo! 195. Woo! Okay. 188. No, 186. With the -8. What was the 1.1 million to 568k? That is insane. So let's check out what the team was. So they played the bench boost. So again, a chip favored team. Mendy, Trent, Holding, Shaw, Digne, Fernandez, Salah, Greenwood, Smith Rowe, Iheanacho, Calvert-Lewin, Forster, Benteke, Rudiger, and Son. But if you look at if you look at the players in the team, who would you have probably played over those players in the team? Probably not much. So you have to kind of consider, well, how much did his bench boost actually get him? His bench boost got 10 plus 15, which is 25. Already that's insane. Plus an additional 9. That's 34 points from the bench boost, which is crazy. Not to mention his midfield got, what, 51, 70, 89 points? That's absolutely bonkers. I mean, he got 30 points from 2 defenders. Like, this game week was nuts. And he halved his rank. So outside the top million, immediately jumps way ahead. And is doing quite well for himself. But if you look at his overall rank where he's sitting right now, like I have 2,064 points. He's only 7 points ahead of me, but he's 300k places ahead, which is it's not very far off. Like I can definitely get there. Top 500k would be fantastic, to be honest. I think that'd be my highest rank this season. Let's actually double check that. We got the highest we got was 614k. No, 585k, sorry. That was the highest we got to, which we can definitely do better because we did way better last season. Yeah, 124 minus 8 so that's what, 116. It's a pretty good score. But yeah, all things considered, the only thing it would have been my decision to pick, Wan-Bissaka over Maguire. It would have been an 8-point swing there. Again, nothing really I can do about that. There's been a lot of 50-50s this season that I've gone on those types of calls, and like this week it was Zaha versus Greenwood. Whoever went Greenwood looked like they're a genius. Whoever went Zaha, even you thought maybe he could get the assist with Milivojevic going to take the penalty, and then he missed that, which was then saved by Forster of all people. 100 points ahead in my mate's mini league and 35 behind in my teacher's league in second. Yep, looking good. Looking good. Yeah, yeah. Just on that, I'm so glad that we signed Cavani. I'm so happy that we signed Cavani because it means that we don't have to go spend our budget on a forward. Like, yeah, I would, buy Sancho. But if it means not being able to buy, a center defensive midfield, like a proper center defensive midfielder, like a Zakaria, like a Declan Rice, like somebody like that, where Pogba can play in the midfield too, which allows Rashford to play on the left, which allows us to go out and get Sancho and play him there on the right wing, and allows Mason to basically play as second string to Cavani and can still come on and play on the right. You could still start him versus the Fulhams of this world, like the teams that are lower in the table, and still do quite well. I think that's priority number one. Priority number two is a center back as well. Someone to play alongside Maguire. We miss Maguire tonight for the United Liverpool game. But that doesn't really matter too much because, we got a lot of FPL points. Which players will you prioritize this game week? Me personally, it depends on where you are. So if you're looking at a good ranking, if you're inside the top 100k, securely, and you're looking to see if you can push to top top 25k, top 10k, something like that, you have to start breaking the mold slightly enough to where you can still have a good rank, but that little differential will take you that extra few ranks forward. A. Son, B. Antonio, C. TAA, D. Mars, E. Bamford. I think Antonio's a differential. I don't think Bamford's worth it because if Leeds don't play well, he hooks Bamford early. So I think Bamford's a no-go. I'd rather go for Rafinha or somebody like that. I think Son could do well this week. I think that Trent Alexander-Arnold is, he's going to be on my free hit team almost certainly. Mahrez is a bit of a punt. I see Mahrez probably playing in 36 and 38. 36 is just because it's 2 games away from their final game in the season, which City will have their home fans. That'll also be where they're lifting the trophy in front of their fans. So Pep's going to want to play his best team or thereabouts because he wants them to have rhythm. He doesn't want them to be 2 weeks off before the final for the Champions League, because that would be a week, 6 days away from then. He probably takes off players at 60 minutes and that sort of stuff. But you can bet your boots that Aguero is going to be probably in that team sheet, and they're going to probably be feeding him every chance they get. Because I think he needs 1 goal to tie Rooney's all-time record for most goals at a single club in the Premier League. If he gets 2, then he surpasses it. Obviously, missing the penalty doesn't help. World-class natural CDM. Go bug Leicester for Ndidi. Yeah, well, I think there's potentially better. I mean, I think that, they've already got their backup in Sumari as well. Another great piece of business. But yeah, CDM and center back definitely number 1 for United. But yeah, I would say Mahrez is good on that list. I would say Antonio, if it's a one-off, I think Antonio's still quite brittle. He can always just break down, and then you're basically wasting a transfer again. Although he does have good fixtures, and I think they'll need him if they want to even have a chance at top 4. Liverpool getting the win today. Chelsea losing. There's still Chelsea and Leicester. Basically, whoever loses out of those 2 is really going to be up against it on the last day of the season. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see. And considering they play themselves in a cup final, and then they basically play in a top 4 final, as it were, could be quite interesting. Dallas is a solid pick. Kufal is differential. That's good. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Just quickly looking at our differential picks and predictions. We didn't do these last 3, so I'm going to do those right now. Also, Sigurdsson, he got booked, so he did not make it on the differentials, but we got 4 out of 5 there. We had 7 points on our scoring. I predicted... it was 7 points to there. So it's these last three. I got that one wrong. I got them all wrong basically. So I only ended up with 7 points, pretty much, which isn't ideal. Present team is Martinez with Sanchez as backup, Seiss, Digne, Concept, Burn, and Holding. I'm just going to write this down, this score points. 7 points for a double game week is pretty bad, by the way, in terms of our predictions. Seiss, Digne, Concept, Burn, Holding, Pereira, Salah, Lingard, Greenwood, Bruno, Kane, DCL, Nacho. Can't understand what to do sitting on 58k. I think you have to go a little bit against the grain. I think potentially a bit of a hokey cokey with Bruno. Maybe you go Bruno to Mane, and then you hang on to Mane, or you bring Bruno back in. You go Iheanacho to maybe someone like a Chris Wood who has a good fixture this week, or you go for Antonio. In defense, I think probably maybe even just I don't even think, the thing is, Liverpool's defense, like, you pretty much have to go Trent or Robertson just for attacking returns, because they don't seem to keep clean sheets, which is why I'd be more incentivized, like, especially when Mane was benched tonight. I definitely think he's going to start versus West Brom, so he's probably going to be in my free hit team almost certainly. So yeah, I think Bruno to Mane, and then Mane back to Bruno maybe for the Fulham game. And then go from there, potentially. Maybe even Greenwood to Grealish, who came off the bench. He could be quite good. I don't think Greenwood plays the Fulham game. I do think he plays the Wolves game, though. And I don't think he plays the Europa League final from the start. Although, with his form currently right now, he's performing much better. And United need to play Pogba in the midfield too. The problem is that whoever plays next to him is just like, they need to be actually good. And I'd actually honestly be interested to see a game where United just go for total defense, like total offensive football, where they have Cavani up front, Greenwood on the right, Rashford on the left, Bruno in the 10, Pogba and Donny next to each other. And then go with the flat four and just say, we'll just score more goals than the opponent. Because clearly our defense is rubbish with Maguire. And it's even worse without Maguire. So it doesn't really matter too much. So why not just, we can see that we can score goals. Why not just try to score more or suffocate the opponent, like with just possession, basically. Because we know Shaw and Wan-Bissaka defensively are sound on both sides. Although, defensively tonight we were all over the shop. But I think that was due to not playing with Maguire, basically. But Maguire hopefully will be back for the final. But yeah, I think you just have to go for something different. I think Bruno to Bale is another one. I think Bale probably plays the last few games of the season. He plays versus Wolves, Aston Villa, and Leicester for me, personally. I just think that Bale is a great differential too. Iheanacho to Antonio is a shout. Bruno to Son and Holding to TAA for minus. That could work as well. Then you play Trent Alexander-Arnold, Digne, and Konsa, which would be quite good. All of those options are quite good. But again, you want to, if you're trying to go from 58k and you have aspirations to potentially get top 25k, top 10k, or even get as close as possible, or you're just saying, okay, this is probably one of my better ranks, I'm going to stay in the top 58k, or you want to hold a mini league, then you just go with basically the safe pick. So like Son, as an example, would be a safe pick, and then go back to Bruno. But if you want to be a little bit different and you want to see if you can boost your rank a little bit more, but it also comes at a risk, then you can go for things like that. But I think Mane could be quite good, because he's had his rest. He's going to play the last 3 games of the season, probably. He hasn't been as good, but again, is probably a safe option. And the last time they played West Brom, they drew 1-1, but Mane did score. So yeah. Where is my team? So this is my team as it stands currently. So we're going to be probably hitting the free hit button tonight, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna just bring up the price changer just in case. So I'm just gonna hit a refresh on this one. So apparently players that are expected to go up tonight is Son, Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Antonio Sigurdsson are the ones that are close. And then players going down is Grealish, Vardy, Iheanacho, Lacazette, and Lallana, apparently. So those are all the ones that are apparently, so that's just estimated, that are supposed to go down. So in terms of what we're looking at, did you see Mane snubbed Klopp after the match? Did not shake hands with him. Maybe is less interested now. No, I think there was an interview with Klopp. I don't know what Klopp's exact words were afterwards, but I think he just basically said something along the lines of, yeah, it's disappointing not to, you're going to be disappointed not to start a game like the one of the biggest games of the season. I think is basically what along the lines of what he said. And you'd be frustrated not to or whatever. But yeah, I think that's what he went on and said. Because I only skimmed it briefly just before I came on because I saw it. And I kind of had it half on while I was messing around and setting things up for the stream tonight. But Mane definitely starts for sure. And Jota could be on the bench because Jota could have sealed it when he had basically a one-on-one. Had already scored once, could have scored twice. And he has missed a lot of big chances recently, so Mane's been bad. Well, but the thing is, so is most of Liverpool, to be honest. Like, there's only for the whole season, the only players that you can say have been playing well when they've played in their correct position for the whole season is Salah and Fabinho. That's it. Everyone else has been bad at various points during the seasons for long spells. So, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Klopp has every right to drop him. I mean, true. But he also has every right to drop Jota for missing. Yeah, Jota scored. Great, fantastic flick goal. But, will Salah be benched? No, I don't think so. Salah scored, and he's now equal with Kane for the Golden Boot. And they have... they have the same number of games left. So 21 goals each, 3 games left. Have at it, gentlemen, for the Golden Boot. And I think Fernandes is on 18. So they're all like Fernandes is still quite close, but Fernandes has one less game. So also they're kind of better. For Mane's FPL price, though, he hasn't been worth it. No, he hasn't. But if you wanted to go like a 1 week punt for Mane and then get Fernandes back for Fulham and then do something else with it, you could do that if you wanted to. Just talking about differentials here. Like, I'm going to go with Mane because it's a free hit. It's fun. He's going to start. Cool. That's what I think. Okay, so in terms of goalkeepers, I think I'm pretty set on that. I think Pickford is definitely going to be the goalkeeper I go with. The likelihood that he gets rotated is very slim, but I'm going to go with Meslier as the backup just in case for them. Free hit is ideal. Yeah, the free hit's the best situation here. We can get him for a one-off, nice new player in your team. Have him for 1 week. He does well, and then cool. That's basically the ideal. Is you want to bring in players that all bang at the same time when you bring them in, and then afterwards they go out. Who would you recommend a goalkeeper for 38? I think so for the rest of the season, I think Pickford, if he doesn't get rotated, is fine, because obviously his next two are good. Man City's kind of bad. A goalkeeper specifically for 38, probably Meslier, Dubravka. I mean, Dubravka's not bad. Dubravka basically just has the reverse for Newcastle. He's versus Man City, and then he plays Sheffield United and Fulham. Whereas Everton, as an example, they play Sheffield United, Wolves, and then they play Man City. So even Dubravka, isn't bad for the rest of the season. Pope's also not terrible either. I mean, you could just keep Martinez as well. Who would you drop for the rest of the season? Bruno, Greenwood, or Iheanacho? Iheanacho. Iheanacho, Iheanacho is most likely to play 2 games. I mean, he's going to start both games surely, unless he's injured. And Bruno's probably going to play versus Fulham and maybe see a little bit of minutes versus Wolves. And Greenwood's vice versa, probably. Or minutes in both. But may not necessarily play the full 90. But they have Fulham and Wolves, so both teams that don't really need much. Whereas Leicester are on the last day of the season have to potentially win that game versus Spurs, who could still make a Conference League place in 7. Is Pope out? I don't think Pope's out. Mind you, he's flagged, though. Maybe he is out. In which case, I wouldn't even go anywhere near him. I didn't even know he was. Why did Ollie drop Greenwood today? He's in a purple patch. I think that's his team. That's Solskjaer's best 11, I think. Cavani up front, Rashford on the right, Pogba on the left, Bruno in the 10, McFred, back 4, usually Maguire instead of Bailly, and then Dean Henderson. I think that's what he thinks his best team is. Although today we've seen, even without an Old Trafford crowd there, Dean Henderson made several errors. I think you can say he's probably at fault on some level for 3 out of the 4 goals, probably. I'm a big fan of Dean Henderson, but he looked all over the place today. Mind you, it was also a culmination of errors. But, like, on the 4th goal, doesn't come out and, you know, actually cut off the angle and basically sits on his line pretty much and then gives way too much of one side of the goal to Salah. On the 1st goal, just doesn't come out and punch it. On the 3rd goal, just super sloppy, just palms it out and then, you know, it's a tap in, you know. It is what it is. But Greenwood, I think Greenwood, if we play Pogba in a midfield too, you would see Greenwood starting on the right every game. Are the fans back for 37 and 38? Yeah, they are. They are. So starting on this game week, on the Tuesday and Wednesday, there are fans back for all the home games. So United, Southampton, Brighton, Chelsea, Everton, Newcastle, Spurs, Crystal Palace, Burnley, and West Brom will all have fans in the ground for those games. And then it is the reverse on the final day of the season. So I feel sorry for Crystal Palace because they're going to have to deal with fans at Anfield for a game where Liverpool probably will need to win. And if they do win and potentially get a little bit of help, they can still make top 4 if they had won their next 2 games before that, which could be quite interesting. Would you say fans in stand will protest? Probably. They'll probably sing something about the Glazers. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it. Yeah, getting back to the free hit team here. So Maguire's definitely coming out. Shaw's definitely coming out because he's in play. Masuaku, Aina, Ward-Prowse is coming out. Jota's definitely coming out for me because he could be benched the next game. Lingard still not decided on, although do we lose value on Lingard? We would, so we have to keep him. Vardy, Iheanacho gone. In defense, I mean Alexander-Arnold's no-brainer. I like John Stones for City. I like Mahrez. I just think a more exciting player this week is going to be Phil Foden, if he plays. So I'm going to put him in there over Lingard. I like Rafinha better than Lingard this week anyway. I think Mitchell is probably likely to keep his place because he's been doing quite well. I think I had Dallas as a backup on the bench. Mane was in there. Fernandez was not. I think I had Bale. And then up front, how did I have... Did I have Ings? Ings and then Vidra. Where's my 1.6 million? Gone somewhere. Maybe I didn't have Mane. Maybe I had something else. I would go TA, Robbo, and Salah if I was on a free hit. Yeah. But I do like the prospect of John Stones, though, because he hasn't played, and he's almost certainly going to play in this game versus Newcastle, and then he won't play the next game, and then he'll play probably in the last game of the season because lifting the trophy and that. But I think he definitely plays this week, though. I think Foden, Mahrez, Stones. I think they're all gonna play this week. But I mean, if Stones is Stones, Mahrez in particular. If they don't play, then I need backups for them because most likely they're not gonna come off the bench. Hey, 056. I assume that's Kane. Thank you for the follow as well. Yeah, I mean it's tricky to if basically it's like do I want to go with Kane, or do I want to go with Mane? Basically, is what I'm looking for. But I want to go fun with this one. If I was closer to, the top 10K. I can play a little bit safer and then go with a couple of differentials. But I think I want to go a bit wacky with this one. I think I want to have fun with it. So I don't think I want to go with Kane. If I'm going to go with a Spurs player, I'm going to go with Bale, I think. Maybe I don't go Mane. Maybe I go something slightly different in midfield. Like, who could we potentially go with in midfield? That would be interesting. Sterling's been rubbish, but maybe he pops up with something. I also toyed with Grealish as well, because obviously he's back. He plays Palace. The last time they played Palace, they won 3-0. So, Bale, Son, and Kane. You think I should potentially all three? Well, again, a lot of people don't necessarily have all three of them. But again, they are versus Wolves. Like, Son's ownership's still pretty high. Kane's is probably still pretty high, too. I like Foden this week, too. But I think Grealish will have a full week of training. I think he should be... or a few days of training just to rest. I mean, if he's good enough to come on and play, then, I think he's okay. Mane's good. Well, I think for this 1 week, I think he's not a bad shout. The problem is that structuring it is a bit weird. I think Ings is the one that potentially could be sacrificed, to be honest. But although I like him versus Fulham, but again, he's just like what Mono said. Ings and Antonio are like breadsticks. Just as you're getting started, they break every time. Yeah, pretty much. 4-4-2 with Digne, Stones, TA, and Robbo. That's not a bad shout. Salah, Foden, Mahrez, Son, Bale, DCL, and Kane play 3-5-2. Let's see, can I stretch to that? So you said... So you said Kane, DCL, Foden, Mahrez, Salah, Son, Bale. I need 2.8 million from somewhere. If I want to do that, because I got rid of Kane, so I'd have to buy him back at 11.8. So I need 2.8 million from somewhere. If I wanted to go that route. Which would be, I mean, I could... The thing is, I still want to have a situation where, I have sufficient backup on the bench for, like... Because if Mahrez doesn't... Like, Mahrez is either started or... he starts, plays the whole game, like 60 minutes, 78 minutes, 89 minutes, or he just doesn't play. Like, that's been happening ever since Gameweek 24, basically. So, yeah. Antonio's only 6% owned. Yeah, true. He is quite good. Maybe that's the compromise that I make. Or maybe I don't get Kane. Maybe I go Bale and Son. And I go with something even wackier. And I go with Firmino, who just scored a couple versus United. That could be a bit wacky too. Ederson in goal. Digne, TA, Phillips, Salah, Foden, Mars, Bale, Son, Kane, DCL. That's your free hit team. But then I wouldn't have Stones if I couldn't. Well, again, yeah. So you said Ederson in goal. So I'm gonna keep Meslier as the backup just in case. So you said Ederson in goal. No Stones. You said Phillips. So I'd be point. You said Kane, DCL. Digne, TA, Phillips, Salah, Foden, Mara, Son, Bale. Yeah, I still need 3 million somewhere. I would still need 3 million somewhere. Like, yeah, I could downgrade Meslier a little bit. I could downgrade Dallas a little bit, but... So, to Forster, okay. Then we still need 2.4 million. I mean, I can go Vidra to what? Davis? Keenan Davis? And then Dallas can't go any further down. So we can't go Ederson. Lingard, they're versus Brighton. I think for like Brighton's defensive stats have been good the whole season. Even with or without Dunk. So Digne to Coleman or Godfrey. That's also a shout too. That's also a shout. Yeah, Dunk and Mope don't really matter, to be honest. Brighton are going to play the same way every time, I think. Yeah, he really does like Godfrey, doesn't he? So if we went like Godfrey... But that's a bit boring. Michael Keane, maybe? Yeah. On a set piece. What did they do the last time we played Sheffield United? They won 1-0. And they got the clean sheet. Coleman over Keane all day. It just depends on if he plays, you know? Depends on if he plays. That's the real tricky part. But I just think that you could do so much without Kane in the team, you know? Like if we downgrade Kane, even to like Ings as an example. I'm not saying Ings is going to outscore Kane. But even if we went this, like Son and Bale, like Kane's looked a bit off it, you know, as well. He's been on form and they're also chasing Europa. Who's this, Coleman? Yeah, he has been. But he could also be benched at any time too, just randomly. Because Ancelotti likes to mess with his backline quite a bit, actually. Like, just randomly. See, like this, I could go... I can go Robertson, and then I can just go... I'll just pick Ailing as an example. And then I still have 0.6 left in the bank, and then I can go Vidra as a backup. Go for Ailing, he's cheap. Yeah, 4.4. And just a bench fodder. Like, ideally, you know, all my players would play. Like, if I knew Pickford was 100% gonna start, but for some reason I still have this potential that he won't. Oh, same time that I put him in, yeah. I just have this, you know, this thought in my head that he might not necessarily play. If I go down from Robertson, go cheap on the bench. No, the only reason I'm making sure that I want players on the bench is because Mahrez, as an example, if Mahrez doesn't play the whole game, or if he doesn't start from the beginning, the likelihood of him being subbed on, it hasn't happened since game week 24, I think it was. He either starts, plays 60 plus minutes, or he just doesn't play at all. So if he starts, great, fantastic. If he starts on the bench, the likelihood is he's going to give me a donut. So I need somebody on the bench to at least cover for him. At least one. Same with Foden, I would say. But Foden's probably more likely to come on. Mars or Bernardo Silva. Yeah. I think that's possible. But yeah, I just want two players on the bench to at least, if there is a situation where Foden, Mahrez don't start, basically, you know, then I have, you know, sufficient cover for them. Would you not prefer a 90-minute player? But I mean, what other players could we go for, though? You know, yeah, we can go for Kane. We could. Downgrade Mahrez, go for Lingard, something like that. But again, that's I want to go with something different. And I'm trying to find different without sacrificing, you know, a situation where I have a bunch of donuts in my team. Because that wouldn't be ideal. I'm going to go something completely different from my original, like my current team. Barring a few exceptions. Obviously, Salah's going to be in there. Calvert-Lewin's going to be in there. You know. If KDB is fit, he'd be the best differential captain. That's true. I didn't even think about KDB. I'd definitely try to get an Antonio. I mean, maybe we go... Maybe instead of Ings, let's see what this can do. So if we go Antonio here, we go. Who's my other defense? I think Stones, right? Actually, I'm just gonna put Dallas in there just for now, just because I know Dallas is gonna start. Then we have 3.3 million. Vidra's fine as a substitute. We can go slightly different to Foden. Maybe we go, I don't know. We can go Grealish here. We can then change our goalkeepers if we want. We can then actually go, like, if we only really want two City players, we can go Ederson and Stefan. So that guarantees we have a goalkeeper for sure. And then we can upgrade Ailing to can't do. take out Stefan, and I'll just who are the 4 or 5 goalkeepers that play this week? 4.5. So the 4.5 goalkeepers that play this week are Areola, potentially McCarthy, and that's it, really. I'll just put in Areola for now. Sanchez is 4.6. Richarlison and DCL, that's out of the box differential. Yeah, true. True. Peacock Farrell if Pope is injured. Yeah, that's also true. That would save us some money. So let's say hypothetically, you know, Pope is out. Let me bring in Peacock Farrell just on the off chance that Edison, you know, doesn't play for whatever reason, even though he should. We then have defensive coverage for Stones, because we'd play Stones. If Stones doesn't play, then the likelihood is Dallas will come in for him. And then if Morris doesn't play at all, then we have Vidra coming in for him. Is there anyone in the forward line or in defense? So, defenders. Let me look at defenders. Defenders that are 4.3. Alioski, maybe? I just think Alioski can easily just get hooked randomly. So it's kind of risky. What do we have for forwards in like the 5.3-ish bracket? Probably not much. McGoldrick. Callum Robinson. Maybe Brewster gets his first goal. Who knows? Scott Dan, Ward, and Lowton. Yeah. I mean, ideally we'd have our team and they'd all play, but that's obviously the risk with, you know, with City players, unfortunately. But yeah, let's take a look at something different just for the time being. We'll put that on the back burner a little bit. Let's take a look at the goals imminent table. So these are players that have had a minimum of 10 goal attempts with an expected goal, or they should have basically scored with those goal attempts. So Diego Jota has 6 big chances total, and he's only got 1 goal for it, so really off the mark. He's at 2.73 expected goals. Let me actually move this so that you can see the full table. There we go. We got Timo Werner's on there, Watkins, Sterling, Lingard. So maybe Lingard's do a goal. Mitrovic, Bertrand Traore, Madison, Rashford, and Tielemans are on there. In terms of the Who to Captain table, basically I've organized this by expected goal involvement. So Diego Jota is actually top of the list over the last 4 matches. He's also top for shots inside the box among all the candidates that we have here as well. So definitely a Liverpool asset potentially. You know, could be on the cards. Kane's up there. Ings is up there as well, getting 4 goals from 2.05 expected goal involvement, which is quite good, which is why I'm keen on him. Son's been doing quite well. Mane's still in there. Bale's still a little bit lower down, but he's gotten 4 goals from 1.45 expected goal involvement, and most of Bale's goals, I think Bale has scored. Let me actually just double check this. So out of all the goals that Bale has scored, I think all but 1 have been at home. So you got 1 versus Brighton at home. 2 versus Crystal Palace at home. 2 versus Burnley at home. One versus Southampton at home. 3 versus Sheffield United at home. So literally he scores all of his goals at home. and they're all against lower opposition, which he will be playing this week with Wolves. The last time Spurs played Wolves, it was 1-1, but Bale didn't feature. So it could be quite interesting. So yeah, could definitely be interesting. If we look at the, this is the newly created. This is a public table that I have over on Fantasy Football Scout members area. If you aren't a member of it, it's basically £20 for the whole season. They usually have a discount price pre-season for I think £17.50. Which is quite a good deal. You can create all these different stats tables. You can look at season ticker, the Hall of Fame, rate my team, all that sort of stuff. Various different comparison tools and stats generated by OptiStats, and you can see very good tables like this one. And since I've set this one as public, you guys can use that one as well. So if we're looking at over the last 4 matches, the team that has conceded the most big chances has been Liverpool with 14. So Liverpool playing next could be very susceptible to the likes of West Brom. Hey Oliver, how's it going? Glad that you could join us. Newcastle's up there, so they play Man City. Fulham is up there, they play Southampton. West Ham is up there, they play Brighton. Teams that you probably don't want to go against is Man City, Chelsea, Brighton, and Arsenal. Obviously 2 of those teams don't play. Insane 114 points this game week. Yeah, I got 113 with the -8, so that's a very good score. Yeah, Pereira, it could be a good shout versus Liverpool. Definitely could be a good shout versus Liverpool. So yeah. I think the average is around like 80 something, but the safety score for like the top million is like 100. So give or take. So yeah, the defenses that we should be targeting is, like, if we look at XG conceded, Newcastle, West Ham, Sheffield United, and West Brom and Fulham are the top 5. They should be the ones that, they are conceding the most. So if we look at shots on target conceded, West Brom's up there, Newcastle's up there, Sheffield United's up there. Headed goal attempts conceded, Newcastle's up there. So if they had someone who's very good in the air, maybe a John Stones perhaps, could be quite good. Burnley's conceded a lot of headed goal attempts. Mind you, they naturally just want to block that stuff anyway. I captained DCL and it paid off. I was surprised. Yeah, Captain DCL probably wasn't too bad this week either. Obviously, Captain Bruno was probably Bruno or Greenwood, I think, were the 2. Bruno, Greenwood, I think those were the 2 best, I think. Because they both scored and featured on all 3. But yeah, definitely interesting. But in terms of the who to captain table, even Mars is on there. 1.59 expected goal involvement, but has 2 goals with 9 shots inside the box, which is tied 3rd most on the table. But yeah, Diego Jota getting a lot of shots inside the box, but not really putting it away. But he could also be benched this week, so yeah, if you had Bruno and Mason Greenwood, you were in the money this week, probably. I can't see your team not having a bad score. It's not possible, because Bruno would have got you 38, Greenwood would have got you an additional, like, 18 to 20 or whatever it was. I'm considering the captain Phil Foden. Yeah, I think... Has Pep had his press conference? I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I would assume he's going to have his... I think he must have. Yeah, because his game's tomorrow. His game is tomorrow. So he must have. Yeah, I think there's only so there's going to be a few managers tomorrow. So basically all the ones that play like Saturday and Sunday. So like Solskjaer will have his press conference after the games. Same with Klopp. They'll both have their press conference come out after their games today, like as embargoed quotes. Same with Dean Smith. Same with Carlo Ancelotti, Everton and Aston Villa. So yeah. So fans at that game? No, not yet. There'll be fans. So the game that City will have fans at will be game week 28 or 38 rather, when they play Everton. Do you listen to J. Cole? He's dropping an album tonight. Not actively, but I know he has a few good songs. Yeah, I'll give it a listen. I will give it a listen. Typically, a lot of new music and stuff like that. It usually comes up on my YouTube feed, and I kind of just go, "Ooh, this is interesting," and I click on it. See how it sounds. Captain Digne or Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, I mean, we can go with something, definitely something a bit interesting this week. Mind you, I think there's definitely more explosiveness out of some players this week. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold probably more than Digne, maybe. But I think like you can maybe get more out of Bale, maybe more out of Mahrez. It's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. But what I need to do is just double check which players are potentially going to be going up in price and just have them in my team just in case I need them. So Son, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Antonio are the main ones. Most likely. Maybe Foden. So who are the players that I would need if I just reset this? So Son. What we can do, Fernandez to Son. Salah's already in there. Trent. We can do Maguire to Trent. Let's put TAA when his last name's Alexander-Arnold. We can do Vardy to Antonio. That's not rocket science either. Who else could we potentially have? We have plenty of money. We'll just do Masuaku to Sufal, because he could be one. We'll do Aina to Godfrey, because he might go up too. We'll do Ward-Prowse to Foden, because he might go up. Maybe we go Shaw to Robertson. I'll have to change Jota for somebody. Who else? Then Grealish, Vardy, Iheanacho. Probably want to get rid of Iheanacho. Let's get rid of Iheanacho, and we'll just put in big old Chris Wood. How much money do we have invested in Jota? It doesn't really matter. Get rid of Jota, and I'll just put in Mahrez for the time being. So yeah, and then I'll play the free hit, just so I have those players in there. Confirm and play free hit. There we go. And we'll rearrange. Okay. Not sure why I did that. So we'll just rearrange these players so that we have them in. So we would have Son in. We would have Trent in. We would have Robertson in. I think Calvert-Lewin or Mahrez might be my captain. So I'll save it like that. It would be first sub probably Chris Wood, and probably Godfrey, I would say. Just for this is just players that could potentially go up in price. So we'll put them in there just in case. You're very lucky to have a free hit this week. I am so happy that I have a free hit this week because I get to have fun with it. And not often you get to use one of your most, like, you know, cool chips to have fun. And I think that's why they should implement the free hit. Have a free hit, a triple captain. Like, I think if you know, the whole chips versus no chips argument, I think the wild card is a perfectly fine chip. I think triple captain is a bit kind of bad, in a sense. I also think the bench boost is kind of bad too, because it means you have to play in a way where you spread your money on players that aren't normally going to play. But I think the free hit, I think having 2 free hits in a season, one in the first part of the season, one in the second part of the season, I think that's fine too. I think that would be an interesting development if they were to, go with something like that. Iheanacho and Holding, Iheanacho to Antonio and Holding to Dallas to get 11 starters for -4. Perfectly fine. Sounds good to me. They should have a 4 times captain. Well, I've seen, so for me, I think the triple captaincy chip and the bench boost chip are either you have 2 of them, one on each side of the season, or you have none of them. Because they're basically in a I think having 2 bench boosts would be awful, by the way. But again, it comes down to, it's a lot of luck involved in that. The wild card is, you can strategically time it. Same with the free hit as well, to dodge around fixtures and that sort of stuff, kind of how I'm doing right now. Whereas the triple captain is you put it on somebody and hope they do well. Kane could have potentially had 6 goals in that game week. We don't know. He got injured, so, but it did end up with 2. You could have players that want to get off to a good start right off the bat. And you triple captain Salah versus Leeds, and he gets a hat trick. He scored 2 penalties and got 1 worldie. On another day, he gets none. But yeah, should be quite interesting. This game week, I think there's going to be a lot of hits being thrown around. So me being on a free hit is quite advantageous, because I'm not going to have any minuses. So it should be quite fun. Should be quite fun. But in terms of players that I'm definitely probably having in my team, I think Digne, Trent, Mahrez, Salah, and Calvert-Lewin are definite nails for me. Players that I'm intrigued about, as it were, is Foden, Stones, Grealish, Bale, not having Kane, Mane, potentially Robertson, Pickford in goal will probably almost certainly come in, because Pickford and Meslier, or Meslier, how you want to pronounce it, is cheaper than my current goalkeeper setup. And I think Pickford's more likely to have a clean sheet versus Sheffield United than Martinez is versus Palace, because Palace have been doing, decently well at scoring. The last time they played, they won 3-0, and he did keep a clean sheet, but also so did Everton. Yeah, so it could be interesting. But yeah, so this is the team as it stands as of now. Obviously, there's going to be some more changes. But Martinez in goal, Robertson, Digne, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mahrez, Salah, Lingard, Foden, Son, Antonio, and Calvert-Lewin, with Areola, Wood, Godfrey, and Kufal on the bench. But yeah, I know it's 1 a.m. That's why I was going to be signing off as well. So let's move over to the big screen. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for those that have already followed us here on Twitch. If you are watching this over on YouTube when it does go live, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so that you could join us in the live chat for our FPL preview and deadline streams as well. Hopefully it's going to be an exciting week. Hopefully you all had a good week. And yeah, should be definitely fun for the remaining 3 games of the season, or 3 game weeks of the season. And there's also an FA Cup final this weekend to look forward to. Some major silverware on the line between Chelsea and Leicester. Who will I prioritize for the rest of the season? Son, Trent Alexander-Arnold, or Antonio? I think Trent Alexander-Arnold, then Son, then Antonio, I would say. That's how I would order it. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I think the next stream is gonna be, so when's the next deadline? So next deadline is Tuesday, so we'll probably do it Monday night. So it's probably just gonna be no videos over the weekend. I'm also gonna be setting up a new light setup as well. I have a new ring light. I just have to get a little block to basically elevate it slightly, and then we can do easy switches with the second. I also have the second webcam set up, but I haven't been able to use it. And you'll get a little preview of what's to come next season with some of the cool green screen stuff that we can do. But a little more on that, hopefully, for next stream. So that's what I'm going to be doing over the weekend. But yeah, it's probably going to be stream on Sunday for how we did, and then stream on Monday for the deadline stream. And then we'll probably do a preview stream on the Wednesday. So it's literally going to be stream. That's Sunday, Monday. Nothing on Tuesday. Stream on Wednesday. Probably video Thursday. Video Friday. Maybe video Saturday. And then obviously Sunday when everything kicks off. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.